My name is Ann Guggenheim. I was a teacher, an elementary school teacher for many years, over 30 years. And many years ago, I was also a Peace Corps volunteer, so that was something that I really enjoyed and that I felt was one of those jobs where you could maybe make a difference, but you weren't necessarily going to reap the benefits right away, you know? And so I think that sort of informed my volunteering mentality a bit. I taught, like I said, for many years here in New Jersey. And then when I retired, I knew that I wanted to maybe pivot a little bit and work with adults instead, do some English teaching. But then shortly after I started doing that, I realized I missed children. I missed having my foot in that door with kids because I really enjoyed that. And then I did a search and I found CASA and I read about it and then I applied, and then when I was accepted, I was just really thrilled to have this opportunity. When I read about CASA and I read about how it began with the judge in Seattle, and he was looking for people in the community who could be advocates for these children and sort of bring another viewpoint to his courtroom, but also advocating in terms of, are they getting their needs met? I thought, well, this is something I don't know about. I don't really know about, but clearly there's a need if a judge is asking, and it's grown and grown and grown. And then the more I looked into it, I thought, yeah, this is something I could really learn from and hopefully try to be helpful at. So this is a pretty easy question in a way, because right from the get-go, I found the training to be really comprehensive. I felt like when I got my supervisor, she's been there every step of the way and very reinforcing. And then I learn a lot through what I see the supervisors doing. And it's just been like a whole group of people coming together to help, and to work with children. And also I'm inspired because there's unending learning opportunities. I'm constantly being, you could take this class or you could, do this workshop, and it's really inspiring to it keeps your motivation up, and it also helps you feel better when you're feeling maybe a little down. I just met with one of my kids yesterday, and when I walked in and she's been reunited with her family, and that is very inspiring, and it gives you a lot of hope. And I sometimes feel like I'm just turning my wheels, and then when I go to court and I see the court, I go through, everything that's been done in the court, and then I also see my court report has been read, and, it just makes you feel like, okay, this is maybe making a difference, and it's helping people be aware of who this child is. This is the whole child, not just the child from, the one person's point of view or another, entity's point of view. And so but yesterday when I walked in the house and was greeted with, well, I haven't seen you for a long time, it just felt really good. And to see how happy this child is a year and a half later, that I know she's been through. Always remember, you can change a child's story.